Hey guys, welcome back to 6 Hearts on 6 Acres. Today we are going to talk about how in this small space in my basement I was able to start thousands of plants for my garden. I start about 90% of the plants that go into my garden by seed, and today I'm going to show you how it's done here in this small area in my basement. My plants are beautiful, they're thriving, they are huge, green, and just they are so close to going in the garden that I cannot even handle it. I will probably start to harden these off this coming week. We have one night that the weather gets down to 39 degrees and I don't want them outside for that, but I think after that we are in the clear and I'm going to start getting these ready to be transplanted into the garden. Let me show you what my seed starting station looks like. It's really nothing special and it was super inexpensive. When I first started this, I didn't have a lot of money to spare. Honestly, I still don't. But I valued being able to start my own seeds and not having to purchase them from a greenhouse or from a local garden center. Having several different varieties was important to me. Knowing where my seeds came from was important to me. And saving money was important to me. And the way to do that is to start your own seeds. A plant this size at Lowe's is like $3 to $5. That is ridiculous when you can buy a whole pack of seeds for $3 to $5 that has 20 to 30 tomato seeds in it. So starting your own seeds is a huge money saver. Although I'm not gonna lie, there is some upfront expense. We'll talk about that as we are going through what I have in my seed starting station. So this is what my station consists of. I really have 4 shelves, 2 that are on this tank that is in our basement. I don't even know what it is. I'm sure my husband does. It was here when we moved, but he fitted it with boards so that I could grow on top of it. And then I just have these 2 white, inexpensive plastic shelves. These 2 right here are from Walmart, and these 2 smaller ones are from Amazon. So I have 2 different kind of lights that I grow with. These were the first ones that I purchased, and these probably look pretty familiar to you. These are just shop lights. They are a 4-foot length, and they have 2 LED bulbs in them. These were like $15. I got them at Lowe's. I've had them for several years. I have had to replace the bulbs one time, but they grow extremely healthy plants. Like, this plant has been under that grow light since it was started. It is big. It has a really strong, thick stem. It is beautiful green, and it's going to transplant into the garden beautifully. These LED strip lights are the other type of light that I have. These types of lights link together, so each strip doesn't have to plug in. They all connect. I have a big kind of mess of wires right here, but they are all plugged in together into these power strips. I have 2 of them, which then connect into my plug-in. These LED lights are from Amazon. They are the Barina brand, and they're very inexpensive. I have purchased all of these lights in stages as I have gotten stronger in my seed starting skills, and I have wanted to grow more and more seeds. I've just continued purchasing, but I just looked, and they are more expensive, of course, than when I bought them 3 years ago, but they are having a sale right now. I'm going to link those in my video description so you can check them out right now. I'm not going to say the price because, as we all know, prices fluctuate and change frequently, but I will tell you that they are a very inexpensive purchase to be able to grow all of these seeds on your own. All right, the next thing that you need to have to be able to start seeds is obviously seed pots. I start my seeds usually in 72 cell trays, which I have shown you in previous videos, and then once they have true leaves, I pot them up. This year I used these for the first time. These are Root Trimmer brand. I purchased them on Amazon. They are like 2.6 inch cells, I think. They are a nice pot. They're pretty thick. They're flexible, and I think that I'm going to be able to reuse them for many years. These were sold in packs of like 100 and I think 120, and I purchased 3 of these. And I have really, if you saw my video, I was pretty disappointed when I first got them. They weren't as big as I thought that they were going to be, but they have worked out really well to be a second stage pot up for my tomatoes, and I have peppers in them. I've started lots of herbs in them, and everything has grown really great. Once my plants outgrow this pot, I transfer them into these bigger pots. These are Bootstrap Farmer brand 3.3 inch pots, and I got the very best deal on these. I said, you know, these are kind of what I was really wanting. Like, if I could have any pot out there, these are what I would have chosen. But they were way out of my budget and not something that I could afford this year. And I follow a few gardening Facebook groups, and one of them posted that I don't know if there was a typo error or what the deal was, but these pots were on sale for 180 of them for $56. I jumped all over that and ordered myself 2 packs. Typically they're like about $150 for that 180 pack. And so I scored big time, and these are growing my plants really well. They are allowing them to have a super excellent root system. Let me pop this. This is a Pippin's Golden Pepper. I'm going to pop it out of here and show you. Look at all those roots. This plant is beautiful, and it's going to go into my garden in just a few short weeks and grow me tons and tons of peppers. Because I gave it this big pot to grow all of those extra roots and have that expanded root growth. Really moving your pots. I want to show you the size difference. So up potting your plants from something this small into a pot this big grows you a much stronger, healthier plant. And so that's always what I like to do. Because I am so close to being able to put these into the garden, like I said, they're going to harden off this week. I'm not going to worry about transplanting these tomatoes again. Potting is an added expense. You have to use quite a bit more soil, and it's a time expense. It is very time consuming to have to take all of these out of these pots, fill your new pots, and up pot them. And so if I don't have to, I'm not going to. I'm happy with the size of these tomatoes. I'm going to keep these in this pot for another week or 2 as they harden off, and then they're going to go directly into my garden. But I am super happy that I was able to up pot my peppers into these bigger containers. Peppers take a long time to mature, so the healthier and stronger and bigger plant I can grow in my garden means the earlier I'm going to get fruit from them and the more fruit that I'm going to get. You see here that my containers are stored in a variety of different trays. My favorite are these 1020 trays from Bootstrap Farmer. These work great at holding a large amount of plants. They are solid, so I can move these in and out of my house when it's time to harden them off. But I'm going to be honest, they're expensive. They are an investment that is not necessary. It's handy, it's nice to have, but it is not required. And so if you are just getting into starting seeds, this is an investment that you need to make to start off with. When I run out of those, I use what I have. So I raid my kitchen, and I steal a lot of my baking pans. These plants are just in a plastic container from Burby that I got from Walmart. I have plants back here that are stored in lids. And I even have plants that are stored in my plastic domes, which means they have no strength at all. If I was to pick this up and try and carry it outside, it would not work. But it does allow me, you can see some water in there. It allows me to bottom water my plants so that they have that supply of water, and they'll reach their roots down to grab that and grow a really strong, healthy root system. Now, I don't leave my plants sitting in water. I water them, I let them soak that water up, and then if there's any left, I'm going to dump it out because you don't want to get root rot. I think that brings me to, what do I fill my containers with? So when I start my seeds in my 72 cell tray, I use this bag of Jiffy seed starting mix. You can use any brand of seed starting mix. This is what my local stores have, so this is what I use because it's easiest for me to get. But you want to make sure and get something that doesn't have big pieces of wood or sticks that aren't broken down into it. that will impede the growth of your roots. You want to have something that's really loose and fine, and this stuff definitely meets those marks. Once I up-pot out of my 72 cell tray, I want to use something that then at that point has nutrition in it. Seed starting mix doesn't have anything to feed your plants in it, so I move up to potting soil at that point. My favorite to use is this Pro Mix potting soil. It is compressed, so this container is the same as 2 bags of cubic foot potting soil. So there's 2 cubic foots here. This stuff is compressed, so you have to break it up, and it's dry, so you want to get it wet before you plant into it. But I've always had incredible growth from my plants when I use the soil, and so I will always use it if it's available. It's also not super expensive, so it's a good choice if you are on a budget. Above my head up here, you see a fan blowing. It's important to have air movement going on your plants. You see those peppers that it's blowing on, and they are moving. That fan is stimulating the wind and helping to strengthen their stem. I only have one fan down here right now, but a lot of the times I will grab the fans from my children's room when they're not using them, of course, and set them on my plants during the day so they all get that air movement. It helps with keeping the top of the soil dry so you don't have a fungus gnat problem. We have already talked about that I did have a fungus gnat problem this year, and I had a fungus gnat problem this year, and I used these little yellow sticky traps, and I don't know if you can see how many fungus gnats are on that trap, but it's pretty disgusting. I still have a few flying around, but for the most part, this took care of my problem. I have several of these just spaced throughout my plants that are growing. But if I didn't have that air movement going, I would have an even worse problem. So I really like to have that fan stimulate the wind, keep your plants healthy, keep them strong, and help you to not have a problem with those fungus gnats. I, of course, have one flying in front of my face right now as I said that. One other thing I like to use as I get my seeds started, I don't use it throughout the growing process, only when my seeds are germinating, but that is a heat mat. A heat mat will raise the temperature of the plants that are sitting directly on it about 10 degrees, and that just helps for a speedier germination for plants that need that warmth. Plants like tomatoes or eggplant or peppers, things that like warm soil will germinate much quicker if they have that heat from the heat mat. I have a heat mat in use right here on this bottom tray of plants that I am working on getting started. So you can see it's only on half because this half is zinnia seeds and cosmos, and they are all germinated. But this half over here has tomatillos, ground cherries, a few different varieties of eggplant, and then a whole bunch of nasturtium, and I only have one that has germinated so far. So I'm going to keep these on that heat mat, and hopefully I will get a few more that pop up. I don't know why I haven't had great germination with those nasturtiums. Last year I just direct sowed them, and I think they all germinated, so I'm not sure what is going on here. I will probably just direct sow some if I don't get more to germinate from this. But this is it. This is how I grow all of the seeds that I put into my garden. We are going to have a wonderful, hugely abundant garden this year, and I hope you're along for the journey of it. It has been such a joy being able to start these plants from seed, to watch them grow, to harden them off and get them into my garden here in just a week or two, and then to watch my garden turn into an absolute jungle is my most favorite thing. We are going to have hundreds of pounds of food to harvest this year and to preserve, and I hope you're along with me for the journey. If you liked this video, if I was able to teach you anything, if you'd like to see more videos like this, if you'd like to watch the garden journey as I continue on throughout the year, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel, and I will meet you back here for the next time.